And there's a 4-arm Avalokiteshvara, there's a 2-arm Avalokiteshvara, there's 1,000 arms, Avalokiteshvara, 11 faces, And all those mean, what that means is all these ways to help. So we have 1,000 arms, so we're just, that's that Bodhisattva's wish to help. And it actually said that Avalokiteshvara, when he saw the suffering, and he was kind of like down, it's like, it's too much, it's endless, And so the Buddha appeared and kind of helped him out, and he was so distressed, he said his head exploded, but then came back together, and all these faces, 11 faces, 1,000 arms, to keep going. And we might say, like, is there really such thing as 1,000 arms? No, it's meant for us to see just so many opportunities that we can help, not to give up. Just keep going. Keep going. There's no end. It's endless. So we keep going. If we're looking for the finish line, enlightenment, forget about it. Like my teacher, somebody asked him once, what happens after you're enlightened? He says, you go to work. You just go to work. But now, you're awake, and you can help. We're not confused. We're liberated. So now, 1,000 arms? Sure. 11 faces? Sure. Yeah. Thank you. That's good, yeah. But yeah, the best is just, if you're like this, the best mudra is to sit down and practice. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. So today, the holidays are always interesting, right? There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of energies. So I wanted to talk about just how we can work with these energies. We call them emotions. We're probably more familiar with them as an emotions. And in the Mahayana, in the kind of, I might say like the higher teachings, but not higher meaning like others are low, but just more like, okay, it's kind of like, school. You go to high school, doesn't mean college, college and high school is meaningless. No, you needed to go to elementary, or kindergarten. You need to start at kindergarten, elementary, high school, junior college, maybe. All these have their meaning, they help. So in Buddhism also, the Buddha taught, taught three turnings of the wheel. And there's 3 vehicles. You might say, why these 3 vehicles? These 3, you might say 3 paths, but actually they're 1 path. Because of different individuals. We're all different, right? We all have different minds. We might like this mudra, we might like this mudra. Doesn't mean one's better than the other. It's just what works for us. Right? Even some practice with their eyes closed, some sit with their eyes open. Is that good or bad? No. But there's differences of why, they say. So in the same way, the Buddha saw that so many beings. They say the Buddha gave 84,000 teachings. It doesn't mean we have to learn 84,000, all of them. But it's meant to be that because there's so many different minds of relating to what's being heard. It's like a doctor, right? The doctor is not going to give the same medicine to somebody. They're going to say, what ails you? And then apply the prescription. It's not the same prescription for everyone. Everyone has different minds, different illnesses. So the Buddha, has these three yanas, vehicles. The vehicle of the Shravaka yana. Shravaka is the hearers. So these were the Buddha's first kind of folks that he taught, gave teachings to. You could say, you know, some of you might be familiar with like the Theravadan, the Pali canon. You know, those are like the original, you know, Buddhist words, scriptures that were recorded, put down. And that vehicle is called the Shravakayana, the hearers, because folks came to hear what the Buddha had to say. Then the second wheel was the Mahayana. Maha means great, like the great vehicle. Great vehicle, you could say great view, kind of like a bigger view now, bigger perspective. And the individual here, the archetype of this vehicle is the bodhisattva. You know, one practices to actualize, you know, the realization of a bodhisattva. And awake bodhisattva means awakened being. Bodhi, awake, sattva, like a being. Or kind of like has the flavor of a warrior, you know. Not like to battle and like fight, but more like this courage, a bodhisattva. You know? And then in the third vehicle that he taught, what you could say is the Vajrayana, or Tantra. Tantra means continuum, a continuum. You know? And the Vajrayana, Vajra, it means it's kind of indestructible. It's a scepter. I don't have them with me, but it's like this. It's kind of like an instrument. It's in Sanskrit and Indian, you know, mythology, it's considered like an indestructible, kind of like a bolt, like a lightning bolt, you know. So you could say or a diamond. So some call it like the diamond vehicle, the indestructible vehicle. So these three vehicles that a practitioner, you know, can connect with. And again, it's up to the individual how they connect to the Dharma, what they're hearing, how they want to proceed. You know, maybe they're at a point like, okay, they move to this, and they move on, you know, to a different one. You know? So in these three vehicles, you know, there's three different ways to deal with these emotions, these energies. You know? Because, you know, there's dukkha, suffering. Buddha said there's suffering, there's a cause. The cause is the clinging, the identifying with reality as being solid, you know, separation. So there's clinging. And from that clinging, there's emotion, disturbing emotions, afflictions. We call them mind's afflictions. You know, greed, pride, jealousy. The three main ones are desire, the first desire, craving, aggression, anger, and ignorance. Those are like the three main. Ignorance, some even call it stupidity, because it's seeing reality from a point of view of ignorance, not seeing it as it is, you know, believing it to be real, solid, fixed. So from there, I don't like, you know, I don't care. You know, all these afflicted states of mind come from that separation. So the Buddha said there is suffering, and the causes, you know, are clinging. It's not happening out here. Nobody's doing it to you. It's you believing in you, that there's a me here. And then from there, you know, your view in reality, I can't believe they said that to me. You know, it's like believing it to be that, solid, real. And those are the emotions. You know. But the Buddha also taught, you know, in the third noble truth, there is cessation. Good news. There is a cessation of that dukkha, suffering. And there's a way, path, the Eightfold Path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, livelihood, mindfulness, all these, you know. But all these are to work with, really, that emotion, that energy that comes up, how we see it coming up, and because of ignorance, we suffer, and we cause suffering. So there was this teacher in the Tibetan tradition, Jamgon Kongtrul, who in his teachings kind of taught like the three vehicles in this way, how to deal with emotions, how to bring emotion to the path. And he called it abandon, transforming, and knowing. These three ways to work with energies, these energies, emotions. Abandon, transform, and know. And to abandon is connected to the Shravakayana vehicle. The first teachings of the Buddha. He taught beings, okay, this is how you can work with it. Renunciation, renounce. So abandon. The emotion comes up, aggression comes up, anger. We do our best to abandon. And with an antidote, loving kindness, with whatever we can to push away that, renounce that anger. It's not good. Whatever it is that we've studied, oh yeah, that's anger causes this is not. Abandon, push it away. And yeah, so he says here, this is a basic practice to catch an emotion and let it go, not allowing it to control your awareness. So renunciation. You renounce it. So very simple, renounce it. Kind of put the antidote on her, go away, renounce. So that was what Buddha first taught. Okay, this is how you work with your anger. Bring to mind a loving mind, friendliness, and push it away. Get rid of it as soon as you can. And it says how it works is you recognize the emotion and then consciously try to release it. It says you can use reasoning, like considering the negative consequences of the emotion, or practice an antidote, such as compassion for anger, impermanence for desire. So you kind of apply the medicine, in a bit to get rid of it quick. But in the Mahayana, the Bodhisattva vehicle, here the method Buddha taught was to transform that energy. He said this this approach reframes a difficult emotion into something positive. The energy of painful emotion is used as a source of insight or opportunity to turn it from a poison into a medicine, or an obstacle into an opportunity. He says, acknowledge the emotion without attachment, then consciously choose a more positive perspective, like aspiring to absorb that energy, that jealousy, that anger from all beings. So basically it's like when the Bodhisattva's practices, when these energies come up, we don't try to abandon it, go away, do something to get rid of it. Renounce. No. Bodhisattva says, food. This really sucks. But you know what? All beings experience this. So why not, may I take all their pain from aggression or desire or dullness, may I take it in this, what I'm experiencing right now, and transform it. In this, the Bodhisattva's wish to be of service, take it in. And what is this Bodhisattva's secret weapon? Emptiness. Shunyata. No subject, no object, no action. Wisdom. So, the action, may I take all being suffering. No wisdom, I really feel sick. This is too much, I can't take it. No wisdom. The wisdom is missing. So the Bodhisattva, their practice, the main part of the Mahayana is emptiness, shunyata, that the Buddha taught. So the Bodhisattva, rather than pushing this emotion away, because in a sense kind of believing there's something there to push away and get rid of, in the Bodhisattva yana, as a Bodhisattva, because of their practice in cultivating in the view of emptiness, Yeah, why not? Sure, bring it on. Bring it on. You know? They still experience anger. They still experience, you know, whatever it is, that energy they're experiencing, these emotions, jealousy, pride, envy, you know, that's like, but it's not like, oh, this is no good. I'm a practitioner, this should be here, go away. No, at this level now you're like, you see it. You see it as in your experience. And then it's like Tonglen. Some of you are familiar with the Tonglen practice that we've done, right? Taking and sending. You know? So you take it. Oh man, I'm so angry right now. So many beings are experiencing this aggression in this world. May I take it from them in this experience of anger and transform it into loving kindness, compassion. Just the thought, may I take it, is compassion, right? I'll take it, then cultivate compassion. No, you're already doing it. Just that state of mind. You know, may I take Ivana's, bad day today. That's compassion. So you might say like, oh, is that really happening? Who cares? What's happening in your state of mind? Right? Receptive, open, take. You're actually transforming your mind. There's no emotion being transformed. The mind is being transformed. Changing the relationship to an experience. So that's the Bodhisattva's vehicle. First was the Shravakayana, the hearer's vehicle, the first teachings that the Buddha gave. And then as practitioners started developing, and there was a different attitude towards practice, and Buddha said, okay, be ready to hear this. And he gave those teachings. And then in the Mahayana and the Vajrayana, there's still the Bodhisattva. So like this third method now, this third way of working with emotion, knowing. That is, a Bodhisattva, but now really applying that view of emptiness to the energy that's appearing, And it says in this method, the most profound level, where you see the true nature of the emotion itself without fabrication, doing nothing, just watching, seeing that energy. Instead of fighting the emotion, you look deeper to realize its essence. And realizing that essence causes the emotion to dissolve on its own. We call it self-liberating. But it's self-liberate. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to push it away, renounce. We don't have to transform. Just look. Like in meditation, we say, don't identify my thought, my feeling. Just look, thought, feeling. And that's not even necessary. It's just a label. Feeling, thought. It's just an appearance in the mind. And this is called knowing. Going beyond the concept of the emotion to see its underlying nature, which can be experienced as naked awareness, what knowing refers to. Kind of returning to that background, that space like mind. It's like we also described as sky-like. It's the sky. And clouds, birds, fireworks are happening there, but they're not solid, right? We don't see a firework and think we'll see it again, that same firework tomorrow, or in an hour. Right? It's just an appearance. Little kids see it and they're like, oh, wow, oh, we're scared, right? But adults see it, it's like, oh yeah, temporary. So, in this vehicle, in this way of practice now, kind of see the essence of any experience. Abandoning, transforming, and knowing. And in this teaching, he was teaching the three vehicles. You know? And you might say, like, well, which one do I use? It's up to you. Whatever works. Some days it might be best to renounce. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to go for a run. You know? Some days it might be, we might say, oh, wow. All beings are suffering. Or we might know somebody. My friend is going through this. What am I doing complaining about this? My friend is going through just the same experience. May I take it from them and expand it also. Bodhisattva expands it. All beings. May I take it from them. And some days you might just look at the essence. Nothing is happening. But we can't, just say that. Because something is happening, right? We're experiencing something, right? Doesn't mean it's not happening. Or it doesn't mean it didn't happen. But it's just to see the essence of that happening. And I invite you to do that. Yeah. I can say nothing is happening. Really look, but it's up to us to actualize that. You know? And, kind of words kind of help. Maybe writing it on a sticky, putting it on your refrigerator, nothing is happening. Might help, but that has to be actualized. So yeah, these three ways to work with these emotions, Because I know the holidays sometimes it's challenging for us, family coming in from out of town and cousins. Last memory we had is a fight at last year's Thanksgiving. But look at your mind. If it's like, oh, they're coming, feel that energy. And go like, that's interesting. They're not here. Nothing's here in front of me. Nothing's happening. But we complain. We're like, oh, well, if they're coming, I'm not coming. Why? Because what happened last year? Okay, that happened. But what's happening right now? What can we do right now? We can abandon, transform, or just see the essence.
Hi, my name's Tim. It's the generosity of people like you that make these videos possible. If you had some benefit from the video and feel an urge to donate, you can make a donation here. If you're interested in seeing more because you're curious, you can click here and see more videos. And if you're interested in subscribing to Long Beach Meditation, you can click here. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care.